Welcome back, everybody, to the Never Seen It podcast, the only podcast on the internet that's called the Never Seen It podcast that's worth listening to. You don't want to listen to those other podcasts called Never Seen It. This right here, this is the only place called Never Seen It that's worth listening to. So my name is Adrian Del Torre, aka Boots Too Big, across all social medias. Anthony could not be here tonight. He is passing out zines at Humboldt State. But with us, as always, is our wonderful co-host, the brothers Callego, Mr. Alex Callego, aka Daily Dares, Mr. Arnold, the Arnie, the One Man Party, and what's a Never Seen a Podcast episode without Mr. Shibs the Zombie, aka Mr. Justin, and a special guest tonight, a good friend of mine from years past, Mr. Brian b-Dizzle is here.
Say AKA b-Dizzy.
AKA b-Dizzy. b-Dizzy-izzle. So, yeah, what are we talking about tonight, guys? We're talking about the classic 90s romp, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, starring the late, great Paul Rubens.
Good morning. I'm here.
And his bike.
James Bond kind of stuff.
Together for the first time in their first big movie.
I meant to do that. I say we killed it. Yeah! I say we let him go.
Is it a romp if it's like sexual or not? Does it have to be?
I always associate romp with just like a fun outing.
Okay.
Because I associate romps with those pants.
The thing is, you could associate Paul Rubens with a sexual romp, but let's not get into that.
Maybe
this is Pee-wee's Big Adventure in the dark theater. Speaking of dark movie theaters, by the way, no. Two of the most. This is what the back of the DVD says. Two of the most original talents in recent decades, Pee Wee Herman and director Tim Burton. Tim Burton directed this. I had no idea. Roamed on what was to be their major breakthrough in this riotously funny movie about Pee-wee's cross-country search for his stolen bike. As Pee-wee encounters bikers, cowboys, crooks, and a phantom trucker, and passes through the Alamo and Warner Brothers studios, any resistance is futile. Unstoppable laughter always follows. Celebrate the one-of-a-kind magic that this mirthful, colorful, bountiful movie still packs. That's quite the fucking write-up on this. Whoever wrote that deserves it.
I like that.
I had no idea Tim Burton directed this. That's fascinating to me. Yeah.
And also written by the late Phil Hartman.
Let's see.
Yeah, he's one of the co-writers.
Yeah.
I don't see that on here. You're probably right. I mean, I believe you. Oh, yeah, Phil Hartman, Paul Rubens, and Michael Vorhall, wherever that is. So, yeah, Pee-wee's Big
Tim
Adventure.
Burton's first movie, I believe, wasn't it? His first major movie?
I believe so. Well,
featured studio film.
So that's what we were talking about. Did the show come first?
No, he was on Cheech and Chong, wasn't he?
That sounds right.
Cheech and Chong?
Yeah, he was like a character on Cheech and Chong.
Oh.
He was Pee Wee Herman. He was in one of the Cheech and Chong movies. I can't remember which one.
I'm going to look it up.
It seemed like a continuation.
Which I should have done before this started.
Just being high.
Okay.
Well, I mean...
Well, let's see.
Who's high?
How high?
Not yet.
He has 122 acting credits. My goodness. I had no idea.
He also plays the voice of, was that DJ Rex at Star?
Yeah.
Let's see. The Vampire Slayer.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure came out in 85. Wasn't there a sequel? Big Top Pee-wee, 1988?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Big Top
Pee-wee's
Pee-wee,
Playhouse. Oh, the show premiered in 86.
I remember
Pee-wee's
the show.
Vacation, what is it called? Big Holiday?
Yeah, Pee-wee's Big Holiday.
Those are the movies.
Yeah.
Those are the movies.
I'm not seeing Cheech and Chong, but then again, I don't really know what that would have been
I don't think he
called.
was in Cheech and Chong. I think he was in like his first appearance was what was it? What was that show? He was on a show which was the dating game, or that wasn't his first appearance. One of his appearances was the dating game. Yeah, and he
as Pee Wee Herman or as Paul Rubens.
As Pee Wee Herman. He was in Cheech and Chong's next movie.
Okay.
Oh. Wasn't he
Oh,
also
okay.
in
Yeah,
Blow?
Paul Rubens.
Yeah. Okay.
A
Well,
couple decades later, wasn't he in Blow?
he was in Blow.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, that's
That was a
correct.
good
Yeah.
movie.
He was also
That's crazy.
Spleen in Mystery Men.
He was also
Oh,
in one of my favorite episodes of 30 Rock as a disabled European monarch dude. So,
All right,
That-
Oh, that was on
which-
30 Rock?
30 Rock, yeah. If you've never seen Paul Rubens on 30 Rock, look it up. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, anyway, okay.
So many people, like when I was telling them that, oh yeah, this was gonna be our next episode after a pretty long hiatus, a lot happened, but people were like, oh, ooh, Pee Wee Herman, it's kind of like, oh yeah, it seemed like whatever, what was it, the public indecency,
Yeah,
really,
so-
really
That was
tarnished.
90s, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Paul Rubens was like, I don't know how many years after the movies, but he was caught in a movie theater doing inappropriate things. But, to be fair, it was also an adult movie theater. So it's like,
Yeah.
how inappropriate was it really?
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
think they were just being super judgmental about it because that was the
'Cause he's a star.
height of Pee Wee's Playhouse. That
Yeah.
was
Right.
he got caught and he was like this children's TV show actor getting caught doing normal adult things. Let's be honest, normal adult things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like going to a strip club and then you someone else who's a customer shows their titties. And we're like, hey,
Wait a minute though. Wasn't he?
well,
Hold on.
we need to pay you. Oh,
Uno reverse card on them.
you
He was
confused us.
busted jacking off though, wasn't he?
Yes.
Okay, was he
oh,
actually masturbating?
I was trying to avoid
Oh.
saying that, but,
Well,
the jig is up.
he wasn't just watching a porn. He was like beating off in public.
He was
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, he was beaten off in an adult movie theater.
Yeah, exactly.
It was an
Where,
immersive
like,
experience.
happens a lot.
Could have done it in worse places. So
Yeah.
When he came inside, he
Yeah.
wanted to come inside.
Remember, I don't know if you
That's
guys
what the sign
remember
said.
that whole urban legend at Showgirl, not Showgirls. It was at Perez Books in on Perez Road, where supposedly there was a glory hole and it was used quite often.
Oh, I remember.
Arnold's like, I remember that. Yeah.
I've
remember
seen
hearing
that glory
about it.
hole in
That's why I
person before. It was pretty insane.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait, what? What did you say, Justin?
No,
You used the glory hole? Was Arnold on the other side?
no, I didn't use it. I was a witness to it. Okay,
which
okay.
side of the hole?
I got poked in the eye.
Oh no. Anyway,
No,
Eyeball fall
but
out.
I've been to one, and I'm like, wow, it's true. There's a hole there.
nice.
That's for
So
sure.
Wait a minute.
There's a hole in the wall where the men can see it all.
If there is
Was it a
if
place
there
in
is
France?
a adult store anywhere that has an arcade, I guarantee you they have a glory hole in it.
Nice.
There's a place in France where they'll find Simone. How about in the movie where he's like, where did he start from? That
So
he ended up
let's-
in the Alamo.
I'm glad you bring that up. Let's get into it. Brian, we normally go around the room and whoever hasn't seen it will tell us their thoughts first. So who here hasn't seen it at all?
Arnold.
At all?
Arnold.
I have not.
Arnold. Okay. Perfect. We'll start with you, Arnold.
It was like, well, I remember as a kid just thinking, man, what a really cool playhouse this guy has. It starts off really fun with like all the machines and that not really machines, but what do you call that, like
Gadgets.
oh yeah, gadgets that makes him breakfast, and then the no one talks about. I thought it was gonna circle back to the pancakes that get stuck to the ceiling, but I guess it just became household decor. His dog Speck was really cute, and just a lot of silliness, like a lot of his like oh, giant toothbrush.
Speaking, speaking of
And
spit,
it's just very very silly, silly but fun. And then it starts to what's that kid who was like, oh yeah, I want your bike, who's pretty much the
oh, his neighbor.
yeah.
What's his name?
Uh,
Randall.
Man, I can't remember.
Randall, right?
That's,
Something like that?
you'd think
Yeah.
that would be one of the characters that we'd like remember the most.
Pee-wee. Good morning, Randall, or something like that.
yeah.
I just remember
What do you
back in the
want?
day when everybody would do the whole "I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I?"
yeah.
Infinity.
are, but what am I?
That I do remember for sure. Everybody said that.
Yeah, I remember
That was so
that,
insulting.
You get so pissed
My
off, right?
mom would do it to me.
Yes.
My aunt would do it to me. I'd be like, man, I'm about to get up there and smack the shit out of all of you.
definitely a lot of phrases that I remember that took me back to my childhood. The story, it just seemed like it kept, like, it's like, slowly developing into like a crazier, weirder dream, like after being I don't know, having a lot of melted cheese or something, because I heard that melty cheese before going to sleep gives you really weird dreams, and I attest to that.
You know what else to
Oh.
give you weird dreams? LSD.
About that. I was gonna say that,
Yeah.
but then if you do that too,
Oh man, do tell.
Arnold, what was the most surprising thing about this movie that you hadn't realized?
that he ended up going to the Alamo, and from what state? And it was
Hey
like,
Arnold, I'm glad that you remembered that. So Arnold, so really quick, so back to what you were saying. You like the Alamo part. Now it's been 30 years since I've seen this movie, and I stupidly forgot to rewatch it, even though I have the DVD right here. Arnold, what was the Alamo exactly? Are you talking about the Alamo Draft House Theater or the actual Alamo in Texas?
just him arriving there, like just almost like magically getting there. From hitchhiking to the train to didn't he lose his wallet before that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of that where like, he doesn't have money to get there, and he just has that stick with the bag, but it's all just
The bum bag.
make believe, and
The hobo stick, the bum bag. Yeah.
Hobo stick.
Isn't that
I'm
called
a
a
rebel,
bindle?
Donnie.
Yeah. It's
Isn't that called a bindle?
bindle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
bindle.
the bag
yeah.
on a stick and you carry it on your shoulder. That's called a bindle.
Because we
That sounds
have to be
cool.
politically correct. Remember,
Don't call it the hobo stick.
don't call it the hobo bag.
That's so great. So yeah, so you like the Alamo part. Explain to me really quick, because again, it's been 30 years, but what's up with the scene at Warner Brothers? Is that like a meta commentary, or is it just a joke that, oh, he knows that this is being made into a movie, or is he just pulling up at Warner Brothers just for funsies?
Yeah, then they go back to L.A. Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah, because LA is right next to Texas, right?
Right, absolutely.
real quick.
Don't
Same
you
suit
think
and
that all
everything.
those movies, like movies like that, like Austin Powers does it on like the Universal backlot, Pee Wee Herman or Pee Wee's Big Adventure does it, and then there's like a bunch of other movies that are like those slapstick comedies that they always have. Like Mel Brooks, he has scenes where they're just running around on set, or even Monty Python and the Holy Grail
Yeah.
at the end of the movie, they're all just running around. In the investigator scene and everything, like it. I don't know. I feel like that's just a comedy movie.
It's a trope. It's
like
definitely a
they
trope.
ran out of an idea and they're like, oh, let's
Well-
just throw this in there and it'll promote our studio at the same time.
And the Monty Python case, I think we've talked about this actually. It was a budget. It was for budgetary reasons.
Yeah.
They ran out of money,
Yeah.
so they're like,
Oh,
we can
that's
just
true,
do a
too.
cheap
So-
thing on the law and just film it, and
Yeah.
that's why they did that for
Yeah.
Monty Python. I don't know about Pee Wee Herman. I think it was dude. Everybody was so hopped up on coke in the '80s that it could have been a million reasons why
Yeah.
they did.
I'm
the
pretty
movie
sure
the way
they
did.
were trying to do some sort of meta thing, because like, as if you recall, at the very end of the movie, they make a movie about his adventure.
Oh,
and
right.
like
Right.
and
Oh yeah,
movie about
that's
the
right.
movie.
It's like
Very
Austin
meta,
Powers,
right?
or Austin Powers took it from there.
yeah,
I kind of
The
miss when
movie
movies.
about my life.
Remember when movies did that? They would break the fourth wall and shit. Now they don't even do that anymore. They don't want to. Nobody wants to have fun anymore. You know.
yeah.
I want some Oscar bait movie where like there's a dramatic scene at the end, and then right before the camera cuts to black, the two actors just like look at the camera like,
Oh man, you know what? You know
You
one
know?
of my favorite ones of recent memory, where they break the fourth wall is JCVD, the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie,
Oh,
where it's
yeah.
like based on his life, but then there's a scene, and it's one of my favorite monologues because he just starts talking about his life. He's talking to like first he's talking to the people in the audio in the that he's talking to in the scene, but then it slowly turns into him talking to the audience, and it's the most meta part of the film because it's like him talking about what like how his life just kind of like got messed up because it was the 80s and he was drugs and women and like all this money and it was it, like people's priorities were messed up and how it screwed up his life for a bit.
yeah.
But it was that was like one of my favorite like meta scenes.
Yeah. Did this? I'm curious, and I'm putting this out to the room. Did this feel like a Tim Burton movie? Like, did it have his signature
yeah.
sort of?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Absolutely.
The
Yeah.
music definitely.
Was it Danny
Well, yeah, because
Elfman?
Oh,
Danny
yeah.
Elfman, yeah, Danny Elfman always
Music,
partnered with Tim
But
Burton
then-
all the
But
time.
that
Oh, yeah.
I can't
nightmare
believe you didn't know
that
that,
nightmare scene
even the
in
style.
the hospital. The
Oh.
nightmare scene
Even
in the
Large
hospital where
Marge.
like the clowns and everything like that, and he was
Yeah,
Just
It
the
was
kind of
very
whole
nightmare
artificial,
fuel.
cartoonish look of everything fit his
yeah.
motif.
Yeah.
Period.
Interesting.
For the rest of his career.
That's wild. Yeah, I can't believe all these years I had no idea that Tim Burton did it. That's crazy to me. All right. So Arnold, did you have any more thoughts you wanted to add really quick before we sort of move on?
I just thought a funny part was when he was in the Alamo, and then he calls Dottie, and he's like, "Dottie, I'm in Texas. I'm at the Alamo," and then she's like, "You what?" Like, and he's like, "You don't believe me?" And then he puts the phone down, and he's all, "The stars at night are big and bright," and then just some random people, they're like, "Deep in the heart of Texas," like, oh, true. You can't send your location on your phone, or you can't send a snap or post something
that's a good point.
with the location.
All right. So Justin, so you have seen this movie, right?
Plenty of times, yes.
right,
and
so
quite frankly, I just want to mention that I grew up watching a lot of Pee-wee's Playhouse and Pee-wee's Big Adventure because my aunt bought the entire series, and it was like, I don't know if you can see, but like the series was like this big and like a long ass box of every episode.
I'm guessing on
VHS?
Like crazy.
VHS.
It was
It
like
was
a
on
2x4
VHS, 'cause that's why
size
it was this big.
box set.
Yeah, the
So-
huge box set. I think she still has it, but yeah.
That's an interesting perspective. So
Ooh.
what do you remember being like the biggest difference between like the show and the movie, or the movie and the show, vice versa?
Oh, it's ultra like night and day difference. I feel the movie definitely has the Tim Burton style for sure. You can tell. And then while the TV show definitely meant for kids, but it still had its like weird adult themes in it from time to time. And also just the art direction is just completely different because you can tell that it was made specifically for kids, but also made for adults to enjoy as well. Because my parents
Side
grew
note
up
on
loving
the set.
that. Yeah, go ahead.
Side note on the set.
Uh-huh.
Rob Zombie helped design the set for Pee-wee's Playhouse.
What?
Wow.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about. He mentions that in when he was doing like a interview for the Munsters, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, and he's like, oh, he was just mentioning like the callback to set designing, and it was like similar to Pee-wee's Playhouse, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool actually. I forgot about that. Good point.
That's interesting.
But I grew up with Pee-wee. Pee-wee's been a significant role in my life. Probably not as much as others, because like I like Pee-wee, but I also was interested in a lot of other things as well. Um, like Beast Wars, Transformers,
Oh yeah.
Beetleborgs, whatever was playing at that time on like Fox Kids or Nickelodeon and
Do you
stuff.
remember that show where it was like a cyber 3D show and like they lived inside of a computer chipboard? Do you remember that show?
I remember that show.
That show was
What
great.
Was it Reboot?
called-
Was that called
it's-
Reboot?
It's
Yes,
Reboot. That's what it is. Reboot.
Yeah.
It was
I love that show as a
one of
kid.
that was like one of the breakthrough shows in that.
I was like, oh my god, these graphics are
3D
so
is
good.
real.
Yeah. I was like,
Actually, those graphics creeped me out when I was watching that show. I was like, I don't like this.
I bet.
I thought you were gonna say
Hey Justin,
VR
I have a question for
VR
you.
Troopers.
That's a good
As
Yeah,
far
that's
as
it.
like children's show icons, who's your Mount Rushmore? Like as far as like like Sesame Street style
Interesting.
stuff, Mr.
Children's
Rogers,
show, too.
reading
that's
Rainbow type of deal, Pee Wee's Playhouse,
Yeah.
where they taught you stuff.
What do you mean
Yeah.
by Mount
Damn,
Rushmore? Like the
Like if
best
you
Like-
could have built a
like
Mount
or the
Rushmore
hardest?
of
Like for me, my
of
my,
being
my,
able
Mount
to
build
Mount
that.
Rushmore
So-
of like. Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, I would say so. So I'll just choose four. How's that?
Yeah.
I would say definitely Bob Ross, Sesame Street.
Which character from Sesame Street,
though? Snuffleupagus.
Okay. That's a good one. That's a good one.
And yo, man, I gotta give it to. Oh man, there's just so much Lamb Chop.
Lamb
Lamb
Chop.
That's a deep
Lamb
cut
Chop.
kind
I
of.
love.
I've never
watching
heard of Lamb Chop.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
is a
mine
song
would
for
definitely
my
be-
friends.
Mine would definitely be Pee Wee Herman, Mr. Rogers, Oscar the Grouch, representing Sesame Street, and LeVar Burton from Reading Rainbow.
Nice.
Yeah,
Damn.
I would choose.
I would
those
just
two. I
replace
feel like-
Oscar the Grouch with Big Bird. For me, Big Bird is like the icon for Sesame Street. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I like
for
Big
me,
Bird.
I like Big Bird too.
Yeah. Maybe
But
because I'm
then,
a big tall dummy like Big Bird. I think that's why I relate to him.
He wasn't dumb. He was always smart, dude.
That's that's a good point actually.
I would probably for mine. I would probably say Captain Planet.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's actually a
Yes.
really good one.
Mr. Rogers. Damn. I really like Reading Rainbow too. So, what was his first name? Burton's first name?
LeVar Burton?
LeVar Burton. Man, I was really hoping that he was gonna be the Jeopardy host.
Oh, did they try
That
him
would have been
out?
cool. That would have been.
Did he
really
do
cool.
it? Did he do a test?
Yeah, I think they
host?
auditioned him.
Yeah, but then they gave it to what's his name?
It's Ken Jennings, right? But what is he? He won a bunch or something back in the
Yeah.
90s or 2000s or
Ken
something.
Jennings. I don't even
Oh,
remember.
wasn't
He's a
he like the
contestant that won a bunch.
multi-repeat winner or something like that?
Yeah.
He,
Oh.
knew,
The
he
winningest.
knew Jeopardy. Like it's
You think in
Yeah.
this day and age they would just hire the IBM supercomputer since AI is like the fucking,
Oh, dude, AI's gonna do so much stuff.
yeah.
I fucking love it, man.
What would be your Mount Rushmore, Brian?
So I don't think I quite understand the question because for me, what I look back, like if it's just like reminiscing, being fond or whatever, nostalgia, however you fucking pronounce it, Ninja Turtles, and before that was He-Man. But I mean, still, Ninja Turtles is what I show my son. But I guess that's what. Look, those are the two strongest memories. Those are the ones I had the most toys
Well,
of.
we
Those are the
were
ones
just
I actually
referencing-
remember being fond of.
We were just referencing like the educational programming.
All
Like,
stuff
all
with a
the-
purpose. Sesame Street would be the one I connected with the most as a kid.
Yeah.
That actually like taught kids something that I tried to show my son.
Did you guys ever watch Mr. Wizard, who I only learned about through Reddit?
That was my favorite show. Actually,
There you go. You can add Mr. Wizard to your Mount Rushmore.
Yes, that would be. Yeah, that would
I've seen the videos of him on Reddit, and people are like, "Oh, he's kind of a dick." I was like, "No, he's not a dick. He's just, he's just real. He's keeping it real."
I like watching the Mr. Wizard videos.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Yeah.
Oh,
Bill Nye. I love that.
And Beekman's World. Remember Beekman's World?
Yeah.
Did
I
anybody see
caught
Bill
Beekman's
Nye's
World a
latest
lot
show
more.
on Netflix?
I watched like 5 minutes of it and I turned it off. It was horrible. It was bad.
Would you guys consider Steve Irwin to be one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crikey.
So.
Yeah, mate.
Especially since he died very tragically too.
Yeah. It's almost like martyrdom.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that weird? Like some of the biggest educational personalities of the past 30 years died tragically or died too young or whatever.
I just remember coming home like all the time and from school and then tuning into Crocodile Hunter, and man, that was some good shows.
You'd have me record that.
I love that show.
Yeah.
He didn't give a fuck. He'd be like, "All right, there's a dangerous anaconda in the river. I'm gonna jump in. Let's go." And he would just fucking. I'm like, dude, what? Like, you're gonna die.
Didn't he have like a spitting cobra spit in his face?
Yeah,
Probably.
I was just gonna mention that.
Showed so much love, like that would happen. He'd be like, "Oh, she's just scared of me." I can't do the accent, but you know what I mean. Just like, "Oh, sweetheart, don't worry." Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're sweet. Yeah, you're sweet.
Yeah, like her biting his arm off. It's like, "Oh, she's just scared. Don't worry."
Or I don't know if you guys remember, but he was like super salty about Steve Irwin all the time. But Jack Hanna.
Oh, I never watched Jack Hanna.
Industry rivalry.
Yeah. Whenever that came on,
Dude, he hated him.
He was the dark version of Steve Irwin. Jack Hanna.
He was dark Steve Irwin.
All right, Alex. So let's. Wait, no, sorry, Justin. Did you have any more you wanted to add about Pee-wee's Big Adventure? What else stands out to you?
You know what? I honestly don't really have too much else to say. I've seen the movie a ton of times. I think one of my favorite parts of the movie is when there's like just that montage of him riding his bike, or not riding his bike, but trying to find his bike. That he like misses it ever so slightly. He's just looking away, or I think the adventure part of it is what I like about the movie. I feel like I'm there with him. In this entire experience, I never once felt like I was left out of the movie, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
It feels like it's a bit of a road movie, right?
Yeah.
Like
it's a road trip.
that was the kind of thing they were going for.
Vacation.
Yeah. This is really silly, but did you guys ever see Bubble Boy with Jake Gyllenhaal?
I refuse to
feel
watch that one because it looks so stupid to me.
I know, and it is pretty dumb. But they were kind of going for that Pee Wee Herman. What's that, Brian?
Isn't the original Bubble Boy from the 70s with John Travolta or some shit?
There is that movie, which I've seen, but the one with Jake Gyllenhaal was like, it almost felt like they were trying to do a Pee Wee's Big Adventure, but with the kid in a bubble. And it's a kind of a road movie. And like even like Zach Galifianakis has one scene in it. It's not bad. It's stupid, but it's funny. So
I feel like in the 80s there was a lot of road movies. Like what's that? Follow That Bird with Big Bird from Sesame Street. Remember that movie?
Dude, that was such a fucking like. I wish I knew the name.
That made me
of that.
cry so hard.
To me. I want to show that to my son. Go ahead.
I never seen Bubble Boy, but I've seen Bubble Butt.
Of course you have.
I would like you to send me that link, please.
Yes, please. I feel like the Muppets probably did some kind of road thing at some point too, right? The Muppets, like they had some kind of travel movie.
Oh yeah.
There's another one.
There's Manhattan or some shit. I got that one for Sean because that was in my memory.
Oh yeah.
Like the Muppets Take Manhattan.
What's that Disney movie you got, or what's that WB movie? If we're talking about these that I saw one time by chance, and it's broken up into a bunch of cartoons, but there's a version where like a bunch of people end up going to like a Dracula's castle in Transylvania one by one, and there's like it plays out this whole lifelong story of some of the characters, but like the middle of it is ending up at the castle in Transylvania, and it follows Daffy
That
Duck
sounds
most of the
so
time.
familiar.
I
If
don't
you
know
guys
that
think
one.
of that,
Huh.
it's a Warner Brothers, but that's one of those that's
Huh. We'll have to look that
Yeah.
up. But it was an animated. It was an ad.
yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
continues.
That could be,
No,
I was gonna
that's an
say
interesting
that
one.
movie with Chevy Chase, but no. If it's
Oh,
animated,
which
Oh,
one?
Vacation?
No,
There's the one about the
There's
one
like
where
a
he went to
movie
the
that Chevy
junkyard.
Chase is in, and
Fletch?
yeah, it's like they're at like a haunted house or whatever, and there's
Oh.
In a
Dan Aykroyd plays,
junkyard
like, a
with Dan
monster.
Aykroyd in a fat suit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That fuck. What was
It's
that called?
free on YouTube right now. I just played it, started it this weekend, but I
That
don't
movie
remember the name.
freaked me out as a kid.
Yeah,
Like that scene where they eat those sausages or whatever. Oh
right,
my
right,
god!
right.
As a kid, that
Oh.
movie freaked me out. I hated that movie as a kid. What was that called? I know what you're talking about. Now I have
I
to
have
look it up.
Yeah,
the visual of Dan Aykroyd in that the makeup.
It's like this really pasty. He looks like the fucking
Kind of saggy.
vampire
He's all
and
sweaty
Bram
looking.
Stoker's.
yeah.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
bad guy, and then it ends with like him rummaging through the trash, and he looks at the camera, and he's like, "I'm still here" or something like that, and then Chevy Chase runs to the wall or whatever. You guys, does that sound familiar at all? I don't know. That was how it ended anyway. Nothing but trouble. Nothing but trouble. That's what it was
Oh, okay,
called.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's what it's called.
Yeah, nothing but
yeah.
Demi Moore is in that. Who
Yeah.
like that? She was
What?
still looking
That's
good. I mean, she
right.
still looks good. But John
Yeah.
Candy was in that. That's right.
Yeah.
John Candy.
Right.
Did he pass away, John Candy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he also
did.
died in the
Sometime, it was like a
'90s.
while ago.
Another
Oh.
great comedic personality. Cool. So, but is this one of your favorite? Would you say this is one of your favorites, Justin? Like, because you kind of like grew up with the show and the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say it's one of my favorites for sure.
Nice.
I think it still holds up. I still feel like most of it's pretty relevant. It's a little bit silly. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's all around a nice, fun travel movie that has some silly things that happen in the middle of it, and some scary things.
Yeah, I like that. I like that when they just lean into their silliness and they don't try to be something that they're not, like other movies that we've seen. What was it? What was your quote when we watched Rocky V? Like, this movie kind of watches itself for you. It's such a great. Oh my
I'd love to
gosh!
hear what that means.
Yeah. Alex, so you've seen this movie. What are your thoughts on Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
So I have a lot of thoughts on this, but like one of the first things when I was going into watching it again, I remember back in the day when I first would watch it, I was actually scared of watching this movie because a lot of the scenes, especially like the Large Marge scene, and the scene where he's dreaming but he's in the hospital, when he gets taken to the hospital because it's like they're very nightmarish and very dark, like horrific almost.
Yeah, dark.
And like when you see like when he's in the hospital and you see
Kind of like a Nightmare
Randall,
Before
whatever
Christmas.
his name is, dumping the bike into the fire pit or whatever, and he's like dressed as a devil. He's like all laughing and he's like freaking out. So like I remember when I was a kid, I remember like as a kid, my mom like would let us watch horror films because I remember waking up one night and my mom and dad were in the living room, and I just kind of like sat in between them, and they were watching a horror film, which is funny because they never did. But like, I would watch scary stuff. I love scary stuff, but then for some reason this frightened me a lot, and I would watch it, but I wouldn't watch it all the way through because like it would just freak me out. But then as I got older, as a teenager, I'd watch it again. And I was like, oh, this is cool. But that was one of the first things I thought of when I first. And to give credit where credit is due, Tim
Wait.
Burton.
Before you go past that part, can you give some examples of some moments where you remember seeing it and like it terrifying you?
Oh, yeah. I remember like as a kid, it was like I told Adrian before we started recording. I remember it being played on CBS a lot because Pee-wee's Playhouse was on the show on that channel, so they would replay Pee-wee's Big Adventure all the time. And when they would play it, that large Marge scene would come on, and I just remember it was like prime time, 8-9 o'clock. You watching
Remind
it,
me,
and
what
I'd
was
see
Large
that
Marge? Because the name I remember.
Large Marge, the truck driver.
Okay.
Remember the
With
claymation
the eyes
eyes bulging out? Tell him Large Marge sent ya.
Oh,
And she goes,
oh, yeah, yeah,
and he
yeah.
looked like this.
Oh,
You know?
Large Marge can give it to you.
Marge sent ya.
I don't
Yeah.
think my son
And-
made it all the way through when I watched it a year ago. Sorry. Guess I'm not
No,
remembering.
so that was like
from
really
Spain.
frightening to me. Like seeing that was as a kid, but now when I watch it, it's like, oh, this is typical Tim Burton stuff. You know, like if there's like a list of tropes, like claymation is something that he leaned into a lot as he got out. Like Nightmare Before Christmas, anything that, like that was kind of something that he loved using. Claymation. And then yeah.
oh, Large Marge when she dropped them off at the Wheel Inn. Shout out to Cabazon right here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for real,
like,
though.
like funny connection. Our Arnold and our step uncle used to work at the Wheel Inn.
He didn't work there. He would always just hang out there like every day.
I thought he worked there.
He would go there before
he always
work.
had pictures
and he was
there
there all the time.
Yeah, he always had pictures taken there, and like there's even a picture of him sitting in a booth with our cousin Erica at the Wheel Inn, And it's. I remember I don't know if you were with us when we went to have dinner there once. I think my dad took us there because we always wanted to go. We kept on bugging my older brother and I always kept bugging my dad to take us when we would go our trips to San Bernardino, and we're like, let's go there.
Go to the dinosaurs.
I just remember I really liking the pie. The pie was really good there, but there was a ton of truck drivers.
I remember before I moved to Palm Springs, like before I was even considering coming out to Palm Springs, we would go visit my grandpa, who lived in Palm Springs. Actually, not next to where Donald and Christina used to live, and we would go out there all the time when I was little, just going to Palm Springs, visit my grandpa. We would always stop and visit the dinosaurs before we made the rest of the trip because we went and got food, got gas, and then went our happy little way. But we always made it a point that every time we visited, we'd stop by the dinosaurs because that's what we wanted to do.
Would you get a date shake?
So, a lot of memories. What?
You got to get a date shake.
I think
that was at
A&W
Hadley's.
root beer
That was
at
at
the time.
Hadley's.
That's true.
Yeah,
I don't think
there
they
was
had
an A&W root beer.
That's right. There was an A&W
so we could go
root beer
to the
next door.
A&W. Yeah, and I think that's what the Starbucks sits on now. I think I'm not sure.
Man, I never really got a chance to go there. Like when I was a kid, it was always just like when we're passing by on the freeway. Oh look, there's the dinosaur, and that was enough for me. Like
That's pretty much all it is. It's kind of a tourist trap, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm a sucker for tourist traps.
Yeah, are you a sucker for? Oh yeah, I hear you.
Thirst traps.
I don't spend too much time on those TikTok
So are we
lives.
going to talk about that? Are we going to talk about the algorithm and thirst traps?
Give it to you.
We can on a later episode because we're running out of time, and I literally have to start work in the next 20 minutes. No, sorry, Alex. You were. What were you? What was the last thing you were going to say?
Oh no, I was just saying too. Like, it's kind of interesting. Like, if in this day and age of like trans people and presenting in themselves, like this has Pee-wee in cross dress. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And like back then, it was one of those things where like he was used as comedy, but in today's
there was a whole movie with
people,
was it? Yeah, sorry, go on.
It would kind of like people would probably like really talk about that scene just because of him dressing as a woman, and you know, it's I'm not saying that he was trying to be uh any sort of political sort of statement, but it's just kind of interesting if you like if you I'd be curious as to see if this movie was released today, what the commentary would be.
Definitely,
I'm sure there would be some form of backlash.
I think that Dave Chappelle has an entire conspiracy based around like the industry forcing black men to do this. So
I've
I
heard
think
about
it's a
this.
pretty common thing. Like I don't think it was anything unique really.
Yeah,
But it was always this comedy. That's what it was. It was never a time where you're connecting with the person over there. It was always somebody being forced to do it, and that was the joke. Is you knew they were embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there is some truth to that, and you know, sort of like you're sort of like trying to emasculate certain people just for entertainment purposes was like, I guess the idea.
Dave Chappelle's conspiracy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's some truth to it, but yeah.
Which is funny because like if you think about it, like Pee-wee has always had that question of ambiguity when it came to his sexuality, even though where like even in this movie, like women were after him, women were attracted to him, right?
Yeah.
But he also like spurned their advances. Like with Dottie, he's like, I'm a rebel, Dottie.
Oh yeah.
You know, but and what's kind of fun, interesting, is on Pee-wee's Big Holiday. I don't know if you guys watched that. There's a big like thing about him being gay in that film.
Really?
Like because.
Wow.
Because there was
I remember that. Yeah.
What's his name? Joe.
What, they make a joke about him, or he done something gay, or what?
No. It was like there was legitimate attraction. Like I don't know, like not male attraction, but it was romantic. Like or it was like I don't even think it was a sexual attraction. They just like really liked each other, in the sense where it almost felt like romantic. It wasn't platonic. Remember, what's his name? The guy Joe. He was like.
What movie?
Joe Maggiano or whatever. Maggiano. Whatever.
Yeah. It's a Pee-wee's Big Holiday. It's like the newest one that came out.
The third movie, technically the third movie, the Netflix special. Yeah.
I don't know. There was a Netflix special.
Pee-wee's Big Holiday.
Well, it was a Netflix movie. Ago. It was a Netflix created movie.
That's so funny. I don't remember that.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, Pee-wee's Big Holiday.
That's crazy though. I feel like he died.
It was an interesting film. I liked it because
Oh
of the social commentary, and it was kind of brave. It was kind of like a good. I liked what he was trying to do, the message he was saying in that film, where it's like the idea of men like having that strong of a love for each other didn't really doesn't necessarily have to translate into like a romantic relationship. You could have deep love for another person of the same sexuality, and it doesn't have to but that's the thing, like people like oh man, get off me, like you're such a homo or whatever, you know, like it's like
this is how I love Adrian.
There you go.
And I bet each one of you do as well. Oh yeah, is this doing the new?
No, it's not gonna do it.
Oh,
it is.
There you go. Can we do it?
What the hell?
I can't do
How's
it.
that? How's that possible?
Don't have the hand.
No.
Wait a minute.
What?
Wait a minute. How are you doing that? Whatever. I can't do a good heart.
Do you see my thumbs up?
Are you on FaceTime somehow? That's weird.
How did you do that? What is this wizardry?
Camera custom thing.
I'm on the iPhone 12. I'm on the old one.
Oh my gosh. All right, sorry, Alex. No, so you were saying sorry.
But yeah, no, I think that
saying sorry because then you make me feel bad when I interrupt. But isn't this whole purpose to make interesting conversation? Because
we do this a lot.
Because you apologize a lot when people interrupt.
I'm a bad host. I'm a self-conscious host. Is my problem.
Anyway, continue. Whoever.
Anyway, well, I did say that.
My
I was
bad.
so
My bad.
fascinated by the hearts. Anyway,
I'm
we
sorry.
we
I'm
get
an
sidetracked
asshole.
a lot on this show. Believe
That's
me.
good, isn't it? Isn't that the purpose?
Yeah, but sometimes I feel
I'm
like we
just
get a little
making sure.
too sidetracked, but
Okay, well,
mostly
so
my fault
you
usually.
make me think I need to shut up
No,
because
no, no,
I don't know
no,
anybody here. I'm going off you, Mr. Host.
We
no.
know
You're
you
good.
now.
You're good. Keep doing that though. I don't know how you're getting that to work. Okay,
Sorry.
Alex, go ahead. Sorry.
I apologize
Yeah.
for my
So
tangent.
so it's I think that's like an interesting through line for his films.
Yeah.
The exploration of sexuality in a way that was like in the 80s it was very subdued, but it was there. And I think
Well,
through
yeah.
throughout his whole career, that's always been kind of a question, right? Like, and like not that it even matters, right? If he's gay, straight, bisexual, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like he's a human being that we love who he is. But I think the biggest lesson of all when it comes to like his films and his pro like sort of his pro stance on like LGBTQ positivity and sexuality is kind of like flourished throughout the years. In his career, in his comedy, in the like his stance. But I don't think he ever did it very preachy. This came off
yeah.
very natural and organic.
Yeah. That's an
Now,
interesting.
even
I've never
Pee-wee's
heard that
Playhouse-
perspective.
I
Even
kind of remember
Playhouse,
it being.
he's always had that too. Yeah, go for it. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I do remember there being that kind of connotation. He definitely seemed effeminate, and that was kind of some kind of vibe back in the day. But other than that, there was no association. And then the jacking off was like, okay, I don't know the kind of movie he was even at though, actually.
Yeah.
But then, so I need to see this Netflix movie.
Yeah.
I feel like
It's
probably a lot of
actually
that is
decent.
coming from that.
It's actually decent. I didn't think it was my favorite. I obviously Pee-wee's Big Adventure is number one. Big Top Pee-wee number two, and then
But it feels like
Pee-wee's
he
Big
got
Top
a chance to make a statement with his money from Netflix, right? And he got to make his own opinion.
I accidentally said Pee-wee's Big Pee-pee, didn't I?
That was the name of the Netflix
You said
special.
Big
Okay.
Top Pee-pee.
Yeah, Big Top Pee-pee.
That was the
That's,
Netflix special.
That's another word for.
That's the
a
movie
penis.
he was watching in the theater, by the way.
That's the great thing about having a video on. Justin and Adrian, I saw we both were like,
Yeah, I saw you guys' faces. I was like, I know I said that.
Oh
Sorry.
God. Well, so okay, so
Sorry for that tangent.
yeah, sorry, yeah. Alex, continue.
Just
Yeah,
fucking
that's what I
with you,
meant to say.
Adrian. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's
You threw
that's
me
that's,
for a
that's
loop.
all. That was just all my. That was my observation.
Nice. No, that's a great. I've never thought about that perspective of like it being like how they say nowadays it was like gay coded or it was like something coded. Like
Yeah.
the message was there, but it wasn't like explicitly done because at that time, especially, it wasn't as
Well, here's the thing with
socially
that.
acceptable.
That was the 90s,
Pee-wee
right?
was
Yeah.
a big proponent. He was a big proponent for being yourself.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
in everything he did. He always was himself. He never hid who he was. He lived
think
his
about it,
life
was he
large
gay?
and the way he was.
Paul Rubens?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if he was gay or not. Do we know that?
So what I think happened is by being this character and getting famous this way with this effeminate, childlike acting character, he would constantly get fucked with in public as a celebrity by fucking douchebags, by the patriarchy. And he would learn, like, wow, this is what these people have to live with day to day. So that's probably why he became such an advocate, I would think.
That's a good insight.
But
honestly,
But here's
it's
the
a good
thing too.
think
I
about.
think, and here's something to think about too. On his Hollywood star, it doesn't say Paul Rubens. It says Pee Wee Herman. So if you think about it, he really
Right, 'cause-
wanted the character of Pee Wee Herman to be the showpiece of his career and who he was, you know, to be like just so that, you know, this is the person that I'm trying to showcase. This is his, like, this character's values, this character's um morals. You know, this is what I want people to remember me by.
It's
Legacy.
his magnum opus.
Like
That's
that.
it. I had no idea that it said Pee Wee Herman on his star.
Yeah,
That makes so much
Doesn't
sense,
say
though.
Paul Rubens.
Wow.
It says
Yeah.
Pee Wee Herman.
Nice.
Wow.
All right, Brian, you're the last one on the list, my friend. Tell us about Pee Wee Herman. What was your thoughts, really quick?
Oh, I got nothing. Wait, Adrian, you don't have to
Straight
talk
to the
about
point. I
it?
love it.
What's that, Brian?
You don't have anything?
So I stupidly did not rewatch this movie, so I was just gonna play moderator tonight. So
Well, I
but you
didn't
mentioned
either.
that you've seen this with your son, right?
But my I don't know who else has a kid here. I know Adrian does. Anybody else?
Arnold.
No, it's just me
Kinda.
and you. Arnold has, yeah.
I have,
How
I
old
have
is
3
your kid?
stepdaughters and one grandchild.
So you went through it with a 5-year-old, like trying to watch a movie. I'm like, I thought because okay, so here's for me. I watched it 30 years ago as a kid, and I remember it feeling like a live action cartoon. That's what it was like. That would be my best way to describe it. Talking to my son, and I remember I played him a clip of the show, walking through the house and all that crazy ass shit with the chair and that like everything alive, everything talks to him, everything's animated, and like he pokes his head out to like just everything. It's a cartoon and there's a lot of interesting things going on, and then I feel like the movie started off that way as well, and I remember it being that way. I remember the whole thing feeling kind of like a cartoon. I actually forgot a lot of the road trip aspect of it that you guys have been talking about, but as you say it, I remember it, and those were the great parts of it. But for me, really, the only memory I have of it was the aesthetic of it. It felt like alive. It was my representation. To me, that's why it seems so crazy. You didn't know it, Adrian, that Tim Burton did this, because if you watch the rest of his career, everything is always like a live action cartoon, and that's what this felt like to me. And that's
No,
all
that's
I
great.
really remember about it.
No, that's a
Wait.
great. No, thank you for that. And you know what? Just hearing you guys talk about it is inspiring me to actually just sit down and watch it. Anyway,
I
Just
just
I'll
watch
probably
it,
do this
dude.
week.
What the fuck?
yeah.
Wait, Arnie, what are you saying, Arnold?
I just
Put his
thought about
hand up.
something. So it was like a live cartoon, and this was all while he had his bike, and then once his bike went missing, it's like then he's exposed to the real world, and then he just goes from all these weird things, and then once he later on when he gets a hold of his bike again. Remember, in the studios, he's being chased, and then all of a sudden, the security guard tries to grab the handlebar, but then it has like a little fake handlebar, so the handlebar
That
falls
was
off,
great.
Great, I
and
love
then
that scene.
a new one pops out, and he's like, "Oh, he's got his magic bag. He's back in the playhouse."
Does he go?
And
Does he
like,
do that noise? It goes ha or something like that.
Yeah.
well, maybe just with his mouth, like.
Arnold, this is a great opportunity. Let's get your final rating and your socials, my friend.
I would have to give it a out of Letterbox 5 stars, right? It's been a minute. Right?
Letterboxd.
5 stars.
Sponsor us.
Oh, forgot the Z rating. Now Brian.
Also, explain to Brian what this is.
Yeah. Explain this
I have a Z rating, and Z's,
Like sleeping?
like you're sleeping, because I'm terrible with movies, and I always fall asleep unless it's something that I really enjoy. I did fall asleep for half an hour, so I would have to give it like a 2Z rating, but I was a little tired, so
the more Z's, the more likely you are to fall asleep, right?
yeah.
Okay, got it.
It's like golf.
So 2
It's
out
like
of
a golf
5.
score.
Yeah. If it was
The lower
0
the
Z's,
better.
it was a really good movie.
Nice. I love
but-
the Z rating.
I'd say 1.5. It's because I was tired. But then so 1.5 Z rating, and out of a letterbox, I'd say I give it a 3-star rating, 3.5.
Nice.
Because yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, so now I need letterbox score explained as well.
Oh, Letterboxd
Oh.
is like a social media, but for movies only. So you go
one
on
out of
there, you
five?
rate movies, you create lists of movies you want to watch or have
1 out
seen,
of
and
5.
You can
Oh,
follow
yeah.
friends.
you can write
Mhm.
reviews, and it's pretty cool. It's a
Yeah.
little.
You can
Yeah.
follow
Yeah,
One out of
people.
we got our.
This is just my overall movie quality opinion. Just like, is this? Yeah, actually, there's the reason Netflix got rid of the 5-star rating, right? And they just did
Yeah.
up or down because people
Uh,
started trying to rate the movies based on what they thought were the highest quality versus what they actually wanted to watch.
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
hmm.
I don't know why I'm
It was
telling
a
you that.
mistake on their
No,
part
but
because their algorithm
Oh, so
sucks
what am
and
I
most of their
judging it off
movies
of?
suck.
This is actually what I mean though. Am I judging it off of like here's my in the zeitgeist of films where it appears my 1 to 5, or should you watch it right now?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
you
mean,
can find,
Sorry.
you should just be able to rate anything how you want. If you enjoyed
Yeah.
it,
I'm just gonna do
rate
it
it
off fives,
appropriately.
dude. I'm
You
gonna
can
do it
rate
off
it
fives.
however
My
you
bad.
want.
Let's just delete this shit. Okay, continue. Act like I didn't talk.
Thank you.
No, you're good. You're good.
you
Okay,
can
go.
find me on Letterboxd
Oh
also
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
at Arnie Collego, and it's at Arnie Collego everywhere else on all the socials.
All right. There's one for the books. Justin, Mr. Shibs, let's get your
Wait.
final thoughts and
Oh.
review.
I thought we all had to give a score now.
No, yeah, we're going
Oh,
around
yeah,
the
we're-
circle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I think this movie's great. It hits all the nostalgia buttons. I think perfectly. I feel like the movie still holds up even to this day. You can still show people this movie if they've never seen it before. I think it's a joy of an adventure for both adults and kids. I think all around it's a great addition to anybody's movie collection. I give it a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and you can find me Shibs the Zombie. Yep, that's me.
Nice. All right. Thank you for that. And Alex, let's get your final thought and your socials.
Yeah. So I really enjoy this movie. After another rewatch, it's definitely one of my top favorite 80s films. It's a film about learning to trust in the people that you love, and care about you as well. Because like you see how he kind of pushes them away at the very beginning of the movie, when he's like trying to find his bike and like, you don't believe me, but then he gets to Santa Fe, Santa Fe, and like they like but they like he finally realizes like, man, I've been going out in the wrong way. So he like learns to trust his friends, and like that's how he gets his bike back. And it's just like a wonderful lesson about like friendship, For me, it's a 4 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. And you can find me on all the socials, including Letterboxd, at Daily Dares.
Nice. All right, Brian, final thought and socials if you want to share your socials at all.
So I say on the Worthington scale, the letterbox scale, I say 3.
Okay.
And then for my specialty rating, I say should it exist, I also say a 3.
Out of how many?
Out of 5. Thank you.
Nice.
And
Nice.
for my socials, I would say catch me on the b-Dizzle-izzle.
Nice. All right, really quick, would you guys say, this is something that I've talked about before, rewatchability score? We don't have to give a number, but would you guys all say that this has a higher rewatchability
Yeah.
rating?
Yeah.
Yeah. I give it like a 4.20 or 4.69.
Nice. Yeah, it feels like a
Thanks for that
rewatchable.
insight, Adrian.
What's that?
Thanks for that insight.
Oh, you're welcome. I need to watch this again, and I'm gonna watch it, and I will give at some point a score. But it seems like it's one of those.
I love you, Adrian.
I love you too. This seems like one of those iconic, classic comedies that you kind of put up there with the likes of. I mean, it's Tim Burton, right? I mean, how can you go wrong with Tim Burton?
But you didn't even know that.
Well, but now that I know that, now it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like it's like Tim Burton.
Okay.
It's like you surprised yourself throughout the entire podcast. Oh, Tim Burton, you just pulled up the box. Oh, wow, what do you know?
I didn't know that. And Danny Elfman, and I didn't know that.
This is so
that,
fucking Adrian.
I didn't know that Phil Hartman wrote it either. So
Adrian, you might as well have gone.
That I didn't know
What?
either. That's interesting.
Oh my god, I love it. I love it. No, this has been great.
Wow.
This this has been a nice refresher into getting back into it. I want to thank you, Brian, as our impromptu guest for filling in for our Italian counterpart. No, don't apologize. This has been great.
Hey, the good thing is I see one more square at the bottom of my screen. I don't know if you're recording it this way, but it looks like we're missing one person.
Yeah, that's our Italian counterpart.
Well, good.
You know.
Well, I mean, maybe I don't have to. Okay.
He's in New Jersey breaking some chicken legs. You know, not human legs because he's not a mobster. But he's Italian, so he has to break something's legs. You know what I'm saying? And he'll never know this because he'll never watch this show, but that's fine. Anyway, I'm Boots Too Big on social medias, but more important than that, please, for those of you that are listening, watch the show, listen to the show, watch it now, because we're going to put this on YouTube, right, guys?
Yeah.
Follow Never Seen It Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Check out our website, which is still up, neverseenitpodcast.com. Send us an email, podcast.neverseenit@gmail.com. And we'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to our show on Spotify, iTunes, and now YouTube. If you haven't, leave us a review. We'd appreciate it. Thank you to Mr. Kyle Mapson of Burn Cycle for our intro music. You can follow Kyle at selfies_food_pets. Thanks to everyone for listening and watching. Do we have any final words from the room?
Au revoir.
Today's secret word is.